Hello there, people, listeners, and watchers of this podcast. This is already the sixth podcast, and we have a very, very special guest. His name is Timothy. He's from Ohio, the United States, and he is a man with a mission. Timothy, welcome to my podcast.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, hello, how are you doing?
Doing good.
Doing
really good.
Great. So, okay, we're going to divulge a little bit of a secret. Timothy doesn't live in Plovdiv anymore. He recently moved to Sofia, but we decided that this is still okay. You have 1 year of experience in Plovdiv, right?
Actually, I have like 3 months.
3 months. You
Yeah.
lived only 3 months in Plovdiv. Good.
It's still my favorite city in Bulgaria, though. So
Yeah, okay. So that's why we liked you, and that's why you still deserve a place on our podcast for saying that very well. So, what was the first thing, or no, let me go back to what made you come to Bulgaria? What was your purpose? What is the purpose of you being here? Because you're a man with a mission, but you could probably tell a little bit more about that.
yeah. So really, the reason I'm here is I'm a missionary for my church, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We send volunteers all over the world, actually. But basically, you just go, you volunteer your time and your own money. I actually pay my own way here. To share a message about Jesus Christ and to really serve the people where you're living at. So I sent in my papers and they said, well, Bulgaria, here you go.
Here's a ticket, learn some language. Oh, by the way, they have a different alphabet. Too bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I mean, you say that you do this from your own money. Does it mean you have someone maybe sponsoring you, or is it really like you're just, it's really like your own money, or like, how does this go?
Yeah, so I actually, as volunteers, we're encouraged to save our own money, to pay our own way. And our church does have a fund if you don't have enough. They will help pay your way. But before the mission, before I came to Bulgaria, I actually did save enough, and so I am paying my entire stay here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for how long are you going to be here? Is that a definite time, or is that an indefinite time, or how are you like a contract? Like, for example, like you're a missionary for 2 years and then you go back to the United States, or how does this work?
Yeah, so that's actually, you just come for 2 years for men, and for girls, usually they have about 18 months. And so I've been in Bulgaria for about a year and 8 months, a year and 9 months. And so I'm going back in July back to the States. But it's been a pretty cool experience so far.
So what was your biggest surprise when you were in Bulgaria? Was like when you entered and you were like, oh, what's going on here? I mean, obviously you had a culture shock coming from the United States, but what was one of your biggest surprises here?
Oh, I tried this drink called Iran.
Yeah.
I never had anything like that before in my life. And so I was like, I do not like this. This is horrible. But later on, as I kept drinking it, I've really come to appreciate it. It's one of my favorite drinks now. So
I really appreciate your determination. Like most people give up, if they taste something and they don't like it, they stop basically. So did you have any other strange foods or?
Yeah, let's see. I had a doner like the first week and I was like, this is amazing. It's like, this completes my life almost.
Maybe you can ask the recipe and sell it in Ohio.
There you go. Like millions.
Yeah, well, I don't know you make millions, but at least some happy people,
Yep.
Great. And just for my information, for my interest, I liked what made you decide to become a missionary? What was your ideas? Like, hey, this is a good thing. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to, because like you said, you spend your own money on it, so you're really dedicated in this well, let's say field of work. I mean, it's a bit of a strange way to say it, but you're very dedicated and you're very so what's your calling? Let's say it like that.
Yeah, so really I think what motivated me is like about 2 years before I decided to come out, I kind of had some hard experiences just personally, It wasn't really anything with family. It was just I was having a hard time with life. And just like being there in my church and hearing the messages that, they had and the truths they had, I felt, like, I need to share this with other people, and it can help other people and, help them be more happy. So that was really like my motivation, is just to help people here to be happier and to find more meaning in life, really. Because I found that through our message. So I was like, I want to share this.
Good. And because I was wondering, because like you're a missionary from a Christian church, and Bulgaria is basically a Christian country. So is it not like, are you sharing a message that the people already know, or do you have a different version, or what do you add to this? Let's say like this.
Right. Yeah. So I think the main thing about our message is we do believe it's for everyone, and not just like us, and not just like
yeah. So they're not two kind of people.
Yeah, unbelievers. But we believe it's for everyone, and that we believe we have just a little bit more we can add to the general knowledge. We do believe like the Pravoslav Church, the Orthodox Church in Bulgaria, they have a lot of good things, a lot of good truths, and we just come and we invite them to add some more good things and more good beliefs and principles to live by. And so that's really why we go everywhere over the world, and not just like to unbelieving nations.
That sounds good. And do you cooperate with the Bulgarian Church, or do you have like your own branch, let's say like this? Yeah, I don't know how to say this, but like, is there a cooperation going on, or?
No, as far as I'm aware, there's not really any cooperation going on there. We have our own like little branch here in Sofia, and then as well as just throughout Bulgaria, there's some little branches of our church. And we just kind of go from there and spread the gospel and spread our message. And it's really up to the people. Like, obviously I can't force anyone to be like, I accept your message. They always have to make that choice.
That's very benevolent, because the Netherlands, they became Christians. We say the Netherlands became Christian by the sword, as it was called, because we were pagans. They were actually, when Charlemagne, he conquered the Netherlands, and basically he gave us just for choice, like serve or die, basically. So yeah, that's it's very, I mean, if you can be either Christian or dead, I mean, it's a very easy choice, right? But okay, we're talking about the 800s, so this is like long time ago. But yeah, this is how it happened, and it's actually a very interesting part of history as well. Just to go a little back to you as your personally. So what was did you have any expectations? I mean, I don't know that's how you were prepared to go to Bulgaria, but what did you think you would see in Bulgaria, and how was it different from what you really came across?
Yeah, so I didn't really have a lot of expectations. I kind of just like erased any expectations I had because I didn't know what to expect. But one thing I was like really surprised by when I got to Bulgaria was the first thing I searched when I searched Bulgaria was like Sofia, the capital city, and it was like they have a wild dog problem. So I thought when I got to Sofia, there'd be like wild dogs roaming the streets, and I'd have to like avoid them. But it wasn't like that at all. I was like, this is way different than I thought it was gonna be.
You had some rabies shots, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there was some problems with wild dogs, but it's not that bad. I don't think you're going to get attacked on the main street by actual dogs.
I found out that.
So, and elaborate on that, what was your general knowledge? What did you know of Bulgaria before you came?
So when I first got like the papers back and I said Bulgaria, I had no idea what that was. So I was like, I have no idea what that is. Fortunately, my dad, who actually served a mission for our church as well, he served in Russia.
Okay.
So he knew about where Bulgaria was. He was like, that's cool. You're going to around the same region I was at. So he's really happy with that. But after that, I just, kind of searched up some stuff, found out like what the capital city was, what the biggest cities were. I was really interested in Plovdiv actually when I first saw it. It's like a really like cool city, very beautiful, a lot of cultural stuff and history behind it. So when I was there, I was like, yes, I finally made it.
Well, I can imagine. I mean, I have American friends, and the thing they also tell me, like some American friends here in Plovdiv, like, 200 years, this is a very old, but something that's 200-year olds in America, this is a very old thing, and then you go here and it's like, oh, this is from, so many BC. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
And it's just here. I mean, I think, well, I don't know, I think most of the stuff is from the Romans, so most of the time I think it's late Roman Empire, but still they find also stuff, sometimes which even pre-Roman. And they think that Plovdiv is around 6,000 years old, but yeah, as a city, I mean, so that means that's really, even for me, I mean, from Holland, of course, it's still Europe, but we don't have, most of the things are not going back so much. I mean, I'm from the part of the Netherlands that was even interesting for the Romans to conquer. So I mean, I think there were not many people living there at that time, so they just kept it as it was and just call us barbarians, and well, basically didn't do anything. So what was the most positive thing that you came across here that made you like, hey, but beside the dinner?
Yeah. I don't know, just like the culture is really interesting. Just like seeing like the different culture between here and America, it's a vastly different culture for sure. As well as just like the architecture, especially in Plovdiv, there's a lot of very cool like old architecture, and that was really cool to be able to see that. And the people are really nice. Obviously, when I'm trying to share a message about Jesus Christ, I'm not always the nicest, because that's a very personal thing, religion.
It is true. Yeah.
And so sometimes that can be a bit awkward with people that are like, no, I don't. But just in general, like the people are pretty nice. They really appreciate like if you try and learn the language and you like try and speak with them, they'll be like, wow, that's really cool. Like, so that was something super positive that I saw when I came right in. And it's like, even though I didn't really know much, people were still like encouraging and willing to help with learning the language. So it was really helpful.
Great. And what would you see is one of the bigger differences between where you come from and Bulgaria? Like, what would you say, like, oh, that's really different? Is it like, well, whatever, like what you came across, so it's like, oh wow, that's really, now I know I'm in a foreign country, because this is not how we do it in Ohio.
Yeah, so I think two of the big main differences I noticed is people just talk about their lives more. I gotta say, in like the States, like if I came up to you and was like, how's your health? And you told me like, oh, my back hurts. I would kind of be like, oh, well, I didn't actually want to know that. But in Bulgaria, like that's a normal thing. Like if I go up to someone and ask them how their health is, they're gonna be like, yeah, my back hurts, my leg hurts, my head hurts. Oh, I have these problems, and that's normal. And two, like they're a lot more direct than people back in the States, or even especially in Ohio. Just like they say what they mean, and get over it.
Yeah. I think like you asked, so yeah. I was just thinking about it. I'm a little bit like taking a sidetrack here. Your name is Timothy. Wasn't Timothy one of the helpers of Paul?
Yeah,
that's great. So basically you're honoring your name, right?
Pretty much.
That's actually very cool. I was just thinking about it. Timothy was a figure in the Bible, but yeah, I was like, I think it was in Paul, the Apostle Paul, and he had Silas and Timothy. I was thinking about that. So yeah, sorry, just a bit of biblical knowledge, how I call it. Anyhow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool. I was just thinking about that. So is there something, I mean, you're now here for more than a year, and is there something that you really miss from back home, that you say like, oh, I miss this? It can be, well, whatever. It could be maybe some food items or some other stuff, or just the way that people are so direct, and you wish people not to be so direct? What is there something that you're really missing right now from home?
I think the biggest thing would be just like my family, just seeing them more often.
Yeah.
So like as missionaries, we stay the whole time, like just straight in Bulgaria, and there's no like trips back or things like that. Fortunately, I do obviously I have the internet. I can call back home and talk with them.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. But just like being physically there, I think is like the biggest thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and with COVID restrictions, it would have been very difficult, of course. Even if you would have been allowed to visit the States, I mean, from your organization, let's say like that, you could say, can I take a week off or something? I think it would still have been quite hard to actually make the trip.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not aware on this, and this regulations are every time changing. So yeah. Is there something from Bulgaria that you saw that you would like to introduce back to your home country? And yeah, okay, we talked already about the dinner, so let's not go over that again. But is there something you would like to take, even if it's a concept or if it's an idea or something you saw, or maybe something from the architecture or something? They say, hey, I wish I could take this, I could put it in my pocket, and I could just bring it to Ohio. Let's say it like that.
I think if I could take anything, I'd really want to take like a knowledge of like Bulgarian embroidery. Because like you look back at the like historical and cultural like dress, and it's just amazing. It's so pretty. I think like if I could take that back to Ohio, that'd be so cool to be able to have that.
And you mean to show it, or that you would be able to make it yourself?
I mean both.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful, and it has meaning. You know, it's not only a decoration. Like the patterns have certain meanings. I mean, people told me about that. I don't know what are the meaning, because obviously I'm not educated in Bulgarian embroidery, but there's meaning in embroidery. So how did your family react when first of all, I can imagine that when you tell your family, hey, I want to do missionary work, not everybody could be equally happy with that, like knowing that they will not see you for a while. And secondly, when you told your parents and your friends, hey, I'm going to Bulgaria, how did they react to that?
Yeah, so my parents knew like a while ago that I was planning to go. So they were more just surprised about where. They're like, whoa, Bulgaria, that's cool. I kind of know where that is. But my siblings were kind of like, oh, hey, he's actually going. Like, that's interesting. I don't know what I'll do. But friends-wise, most of the friends I had were members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So they were kind of used to like, you know, people going on missions and people volunteering. So it was like, okay, cool, you're going.
Cool.
That's cool.
So you're basically in an environment that really supports, well, let's say this lifestyle. I mean, I cannot say that being a missionary is a lifestyle, but you're basically in a surrounding that really supports this work. I mean, it's not like that you have people around you that are like, why you go on a mission? I mean, are you crazy? Yeah. I mean, you could have stayed home.
Yeah, no, definitely it's very supportive.
That's cool. I mean, it's nice to be supported, and it's nice to have the blessing of your family. I mean, yeah. How do you see, I mean, I don't know, you're here for a little bit over a year, but how do you see Bulgaria evolving? Like, if you would see, like, if you could make a prediction about Bulgaria, do you think things will go better? Or because there's, of course, there are good things, there are bad things, like in everywhere. But how do you see the future of Bulgaria? What do you see happening here?
Well, to be general and not specific, I would say I think Bulgaria is going to improve, just because I have a very positive outlook on life in general. But
otherwise, think it's hard to be a missionary. I think if you're very negative and I'm going to spread the gospel, but you know, be skeptic about it. It's not going to work.
Yeah, for sure. People look at me and be like, is he happy because he's sharing the gospel?
Yeah. No, it's just paying the bills, man.
No, I think
No. I already got it. Yeah, you have to be a very dedicated person, and we have to really believe in what you're doing. I think because otherwise, yeah, you're not going to you're not doing that. But anyhow, to go back to the question, you have a positive outlook, and well, fire away.
Yeah, so I think Bulgaria is just gonna improve, and I think mainly just like everything's gonna gradually get better. It might take some time because of the cultural mindset and stuff, but I think it'll get better. And I try and avoid talking politics.
Yeah. Very good. No, this is not a political channel.
Yeah, as a religious organization, that's kind of awkward if you start getting involved there.
Yeah, well, there are people that think that the government and church should be one. So I mean, it's called theocracy, I think, or something like that. Theocracy.
Yeah.
Theocracy. That's the word. Yeah. We have a party in Holland who believes that they have 2 seats in parliament. So of the 150, so they can't do much, but they still think that it's a good idea to bring those two together. Yeah, okay. I mean, so for how long will you stay in Bulgaria? Like, will you stay, if you, let's say, if your missionary part is over, will you stay longer just because you like it, or do you have to go back to the United States, or how does it work?
Yeah, so at least for a little bit, I have to go back, just so that like that frees up, because the government has stuff about like how many people can get visas, for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and stuff. So I'd have to go back for at least for a little bit, but if I wanted to come back on my own, then I could do that like pretty soon afterwards, a couple of weeks in the States, and then I could come back on too. I would like to. I don't know whether it'll be like right away or not. But probably in like, I would want to come back like in the next 3 years for sure. Just so I have still at least remember the language a little bit.
That's true. Yeah, what you don't use, you lose, right? And I don't know if you have many Bulgarians around you in your community. I mean, it depends. I don't know. I know that in Chicago this is quite a lot. There are a lot of Bulgarians there.
Yeah.
But that's still quite far from Ohio, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of Russian immigrants in Ohio, so there could possibly be some Bulgarian ones as well. I don't know for sure.
Well, at least you can keep your alphabet, the Cyrillic alphabet, but don't tell Russians that it's Bulgarian, because they don't like that. And the other way around also, they don't like that. I mean, don't go to Bulgarians and say that this is the Russian alphabet. Don't go there.
Yeah.
Because well, I still believe that, it was invented by Cyril and Methodic, and they were in Thessaloniki, and at that time it was part of Bulgaria. That's the story that I heard. So, and since this is the best story to believe when you're in Bulgaria, I stick to it.
Yeah.
I think we are reaching we're reaching the end of the interview. So I would like to ask you, is there anything that you want to say to the listeners and the people who see this on YouTube, like a personal message or something that you want to bring across to give us something? Let's say it like this. I mean, just to bring it and to bring this interview to an end.
Right. So I think the only thing I gotta say is like, if you do see like missionaries, they usually will be dressed like this. They might not have the tag, just for certain safety things have happened in the past with that.
Yeah.
But if you do see missionaries, don't be afraid to talk to them. They're really nice. They're really, happy people, and they like to help. So even if you're not interested in their message, if you do have some kind of problem that you want help with, they're happy to help. No strings attached. And yeah, just like be willing to talk with them, because they really appreciate it. And if they have a message to share, and you don't have to listen to it if you don't want to, and the choice is always yours. So
that's very good. Very good. I think that's a very good message. And I mean, I haven't seen any missionary in Plovdiv, so until now not so, but I will keep your words with you. And if you come back to Plovdiv, I hope you will do, because it's a very good city. So so let the people know that you're very approachable. And what I most got out of this interview is that you are a very dedicated person. And of course, like the other missionaries, I guess they are as well. They're dedicated, and basically they do it from their own means, which I did not know. And that basically means that you're really, yeah, you put something on the line, let's say it like that. It's not like that you get a big sponsor and okay, you can just have a American salary and you have you know, and you have Bulgarian life cost, so it's financially, no, it's something really that comes from your heart and from your spirit, and that you yeah, and you do it, you spread this message. And like you say, whatever people will think about it, yeah, well, everybody has an opinion, right?
Yeah.
Good. Timothy, I have nothing more to ask to you. So I just want to thank you for being a guest on my podcast, or there's something that you still want to add to it. But good, good. Then I would say thank you for your time, thank you for the effort, and thank you for your energetic and your happy message. So with that much ado, I would like to say goodbye. And again, thank you for your time and effort.
All right. Thank you as well. It's been a pleasure to be on.